Now, I've brought you all here today for a reason. You see this book? I'm going to read this book at some point, but not now, so we can ignore that. I'm here to answer a number of questions. I've just learned how to read, so I'm really excited to start reading. I've got a nice stack of books over there. I haven't read any of them yet for obvious reasons, and I'm just really excited to get right into it. So let's just answer some questions because I haven't read any books yet. Today is the question day. So the first question is, why did I want to get started in Booktube? And the answer is, I have nowhere else to go. I wanted to be able to keep existing, and I figured that this place seemed nice, and it's got a lot of benches, metaphorical benches, that I can sleep on. The second question is, who are some of the fun and unique things I can bring to Booktube? So some of the fun things I can bring to Booktube, I am real exciting. That's me, and we're gonna have a party every time I upload. Everybody's invited. Come to my party. As for unique things, I'm just gonna be kind of starting with some of the easy books, like the one that I threw, and this other one, and stuff. I'm just gonna do the best I can. The first book that I'm gonna read... Oh wait, is this a question? I don't know. The next question is, what's the book that I'm gonna read next? It's one of the questions now because I want it to be. The book I'm gonna read is The Adoration of Jenna Fox. I'm gonna read the heck out of it, and let's read some of the back. 17-year-old Jenna Fox has just awoken from a year-long coma, so she's been told, and she's still recovering from the terrible accident that caused it. And then there's other words too. So I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna read that later, and it's gonna be good. Sabe told me it's gonna be good. The other questions are questions, and I know them, and I'll say them now. What am I most excited for about this new channel? That's the question that I knew. So I'm most excited to read, and I figure, you know, I might as well record my experiences, and I can find books that are, you know, interesting to me. Hopefully they're interesting to you. Why do I love reading? Well, because I like breathing, and you know, it's basically the same thing. I haven't done either in far too long, and it's really time to start. When I was a kid, I used to read a lot of audiobooks. I didn't listen to them, I read them, so I'm not saying that wrong. But I didn't know how to read regular books, so that's why they were audiobooks. But you know, I'd get a printout of all of the pitch and tone and everything, so I could piece together what the voices were saying. I really liked reading, so I'd get through 3 or 4 books a week, and higher than that sometimes too. I'd just go down to the library, I'd find a bunch of audiobooks, I'd print them out using the library printers, and I'd read them, and I really liked reading. I'd read all the time. I'd read while I was walking from place to place. I'd read while I was eating, read while I was brushing my teeth. I'd read all the places and read all of the time. I liked to read. Why? I don't know. That was the question. I don't know that answer, but I know that I did it a lot. And now I'm gonna do it again. This time it's gonna be real books. What book or series got me into reading? I don't know. I wasn't born yet when I started, so I can't really pin down exactly when that was, and I don't really know what the first book was or the book series, but I can tell you that the first book I remember the title of. When I was in middle school, there was a little library that had a couple of printouts of audiobooks in it, and one of those was The Hobbit. So I found that book, and I'd heard about it, and I read it, and I was like, wow, that was a really good book. What questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? First of all, there's the guy who married the books. He's cool. I would ask him, in what way are you related to my friend Zach? Because you look a lot like him and you act and sound like him, so I assume you're related. For everyone else, all of my other favorite booktubers, I would like to know, where do you find those really bad books that you just tear apart in a very amusing way? Because I'm curious where they come from. What challenges will starting a booktube channel be the hardest to overcome? Well, I think the hardest challenge to overcome is getting a very small initial grouping of people to view my beautiful, amazing, incredible videos that everybody should really want to watch anyway, but they just haven't happened to stumble upon yet. I need to get them to watch it in the first place, and I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to do do that, and I think that's going to be incredibly challenging. Everything from after that, it's just going to be smooth sailing. That's the word. But it will be soothing for me, because I'll just be relaxing on my reading boat. Yeah. That's the answer. How old where do I read? I read wherever I want. I am like a reading gorilla. And when I get a book, I read it in the place where I am. Yes, gorillas just read wherever they want, which is usually never, so they don't usually read anywhere. But if they do decide to read, it's wherever they want. You better not try and stop them. Well, I usually like to read science fiction and fantasy, and that's most of the stuff that I, was tearing through the library. And just really any science fiction and fantasy. And then I like to read humorous books as well, comic books. And I will read other types of books now and then. I'll read, historical books, historical fiction, or something completely different from any of the stuff that I read most often. But that's definitely my core reading selection. So what's the answer to that with it? Well, yes is the answer. Yes, that was it. Toodaloo. Toodaloo! That means turn off the camera. That's my exit.